Hi guys, I'm John, I'm in Britain, and I've worked out a way of making a simple plastic gown from 3 plastic bags. I'm hoping that this might help with a shortage of PPE anywhere in the world. Right, so I have to state a disclaimer just to say that I won't be held responsible for the consequences of using any of the ideas, materials, techniques, tools or suggestions in this video. Right, so things I used to make the gown. Plastic bags. There are 4 different types here, but you don't need all those, just one roll will do. A marker pen, a measuring tape, a pair of scissors, 6 clothes pegs, a clothes iron. I use this brown paper on this roll. That's not essential. You could use newspaper instead. That's for making patterns. 4 sheets of printer paper, a fan heater, or a desk fan would be fine. You don't need the heat, just the cold blow, and a straight edge. It doesn't need to be as long as that, just something to draw some straight lines to make the patterns. Also, these are what I call welding boards. Now, that one at the top there is a piece of laminate shelving from an old shop when it was refitted. There's a small piece there for making the cuffs of the gown. You could also use a plank of wood, or there's another length of wood there, that's actually plywood, the bottom one. The wood and the plywood work very well. I think they insulate the heat a bit better. Okay, so this is me wearing one of the prototype gowns that I've made. Sleeves. Turn around. Right, in a moment I'll show how I make the seams for the gown. They're actually welded together using the clothes iron to heat the plastic, and I strongly recommend that you use a fan heater on cold or just an ordinary desk fan to blow away any fumes from heating the plastic. I haven't had a problem with this, but I do recommend that you do that, and I will be doing it in a moment. So check which way the draft comes out of the fan heater. The draft doesn't always come straight out of the front, if you like. It can come out a bit sideways. Okay, so I'm just going to show here how I weld 2 pieces of plastic together to make a seam. This is just a demonstration, not part of an actual gown. So I've laid a piece of plastic on the edge here, on the edge of the wood. I could also be using the laminate board that I showed earlier, or the piece of plywood. Any of them would do. You probably could find other things that would do as well. And I'm just taping down the ends of the plastic. Now, this use of tape is not strictly necessary. You can just lay the plastic there, but I find that the tape helps to hold the plastic in place. With a long seam, it can be a bit awkward trying to get it to stay in place. And then I've laid the next piece of plastic over. I'm going to just weld about 1 inch here on the edge of the board, and the rest of it needs to be falling away like that so that it doesn't get welded. And then take the other end. Now I'm going to use 2 of the sheets of printer paper Put one there and one there, overlapping it like that. Make sure that the base of the iron doesn't contact the sticky tape or the black plastic anywhere. That's obviously very important, otherwise it will stick to the base of the iron. Press the iron quite firmly onto the surface and move it slowly along and lift. Pull the paper off. Now, if you're using, this plastic's pretty thin, if you're using something thicker, you'll need to move the iron more slowly. But I don't know if you can see there, I'm just trying to get that in shot. It has actually welded the two pieces of plastic together. And if I open it up, you can see from the back I'm pulling there, and it's really a strong, continuous join, hopefully waterproof. Okay, these are the patterns I use to cut the plastic. Only two patterns, just the sleeve and the body. And the sleeve, you need 4 pieces of plastic cut to this shape. For me, and I'm quite big, so this one's 13 inches 33 centimeters at that end, 8 inches 20 centimeters at that end, 31.5 80 centimeters long, and that allows enough to turn the plastic back to form the cuffs. The body panel, of which you need 2, is 28.5 inches wide, 73 centimeters, 53 inches long, 135 centimeters, and that's just a rectangle. Very simple. Right guys, I've already cut now the plastic, the 4 plastic sleeve panels and the 2 plastic body panels. You can just see them under the pattern there. There's no point in showing how I got it out of the plastic bags, because the plastic bags you use may be a different size, and so you'll have to work out for yourselves how you can get what you need out of them. You can, for a long panel like this, plastic panel, you can join it by welding it, so you don't have to have one continuous piece. Right, so what I'll be doing is welding 2 sleeve panels onto each body panel, roughly like this. This is kind of how it's going to end up. So I'll end up with 2 lots of this. One will be the front of the gown, one will be the back, and then I'll weld the front to the back. Now I haven't allowed for the seam allowance here, and this is not how the plastic will be joined. The way the plastic will actually be joined is by turn one of these over like that, and it's going to be welded about 1 inch down here. Okay, and the same same on the other side. That one's going to flip over. and will be welded about 1 inch down there, obviously not with that one underneath it. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you when I've done it. Right, so because the plastic's black, it's a little bit difficult to show exactly what I'm doing here, but what I've done, I've got one sleeve panel here, and I've used some tape to stick it in place to weld to the top corner of one of the body panels. So now I'm going to put some paper over it, and I'm going to weld it. Okay, so I've welded the sleeve to the body panel there, and I'll just pull the sleeve over. That's the inside. All the seams will be welded on the outside for now, and then when it's all done, the whole thing will be turned inside out, and so you won't be able to see the rather rough looking seams, but there is the seam. And all the sleeves are welded on in the same way. Okay, so I've welded all the sleeves on now. Sorry you keep getting a view of my feet. These rather old pair of shoes. And here are the seams, which are all looking okay to me. I've snipped off any excess bits of tape that was sticking out. It does seem to be possible to kind of weld the tape in. And anyway, if there's a problem anywhere, if the tape has prevented the weld from taking where it is, then you can just wrap a little bit of plastic over the whole thing, put the sheet of paper on top and plonk the iron on it, and it will, we leave it there for a bit, it'll weld it all together, including the tape. So I've now got two like this, and it did occur to me, I've dropped the sleeves slightly with the shape I've made them, so it matters which way they go on. But if you made the taper symmetrical, just a slight difference, and made it symmetrical, then it wouldn't matter which way up they went on. So the next thing, I've got two like this now, just showing you one here. This is either the front or the back, doesn't matter. And the next thing is to weld the two like this together all the way along the edges of the sleeves, and down the edges of the body as well. And we will be, or I will be, slitting the back of the gown and putting some ties on, because that's normally how surgical gowns go. Although this isn't, of course, a surgical gown. I'm hoping it might be used as such, but there's no way it's been approved or anything like that. Okay, so I've set up for welding one sleeve top together, the top edge, and then I'll do the other top edge of the other sleeve, and then I think the next thing is the bottom edge of the sleeves, and then down the sides of the body. But as you'll have gathered by now, guys, this is very much a new thing, and I'm sure that you will think of better ways of doing just about everything, and I shall be very pleased to hear anyone's ideas. Okay, so all the main welds have been done. I've also welded probably about 6 inches in here from the from the shoulder on either side, just leaving an opening for the head. And I'm now going to turn the whole thing inside out, but first I'll cut a slit all the way out the back. You can use either this side or the other side, they're both the same. Okay, so I've cut the back open all the way out the middle, and the next thing to do is to weld on some straps, and also the cuffs need to be done. Right guys, okay, so I've cut the back all the way out the middle, and I put some of that brown paper in there just to show that more clearly. I'm now going to weld on some straps, 2 at waist level, which are actually going to be 22 inches down from the top there, and then 2 higher up. The last time I put them, last gown I made, I put the other 2 straps right up at the top, so they go round the neck, but I don't know whether that's the best way to do it or not, really. And things like this, you know, if you're going to have a go at this, you can really work out for yourself, and I'm sure that other people will quickly come up with a much better gown than I've managed to make. Right guys, well, I'm going to weld the straps or ties or whatever they should be called on at about 22 inches below the top of the gown. As you can see, that's about 56 centimeters. But before I weld one of the ties on, there'll be 2 of them, obviously one on the other side, and there is an offcut of plastic. It's about 3 inches wide and about 34 inches long. It's not critical, but before I weld that on, I'm going to weld on this little square of plastic, and that'll just go on there, just to reinforce the back a little bit there, because the tie is going on there. Okay, so I've welded one tie or strap on there, and as you can see, I haven't bothered folding the rest of it because that that'll fold itself up when it's tied. But it does need to be done at that end, because otherwise where the ties or straps cross over, then they'll cause a problem. Okay, so this is how I do the cuffs. I've folded about 3 inches of plastic, about 7 centimeters back there. I put a vodka bottle inside with no vodka in it, I hasten to add. I don't think that would be a very good idea. Put the paper on up to about there, and being careful not to burn your thumb, as I've just done. Roll the iron across, Is that welding? Yes, it is welding. Let's weld it up to about there. Put the paper back on. Roll it across. across again. Check to see how far it's welded. That's fine, except there's one bit there that it hasn't quite done, so I'll just redo that particular bit. It's done. And so what that's done is leave a hollow tube, if you like, all the way around, which the elastic can be threaded through. I had to remake this video because the first time I did the cuff didn't work very well, so this is on an older gown. Right, so to thread the elastic in, what I've done is I've tied one end of the elastic to a paper clip with just a single hitch, and notice with the paper clip that the cut ends of the wire, sharp ends if you like, are pointing that way, so that when it's fed into the tube those cut ends don't tend to catch. I've actually managed to thread a piece of elastic through a test sleeve end that I made just now, and that worked okay. So I'm now going to make a little cut in the sleeve. I'm not sure where is the best place, but I'll just do it here. So a little cut like that, just to be able to get to thread the elastic in. I'll try and show how I'm doing that, but it's pretty obvious really. Right, well there it is guys, the completed gown that you've watched me making, if you've got this far. And thank you very much for your time. And I'll be very interested in any comments or suggestions. I know there'll be a lot of negative comments, but don't worry about that, I'm used to YouTube. Right, well, thank you for watching. If you're going to have a go at this, then please practice on some bits of plastic first. And remember to blow away any fumes with a fan or whatever. And take care not to burn yourself with the iron. Pretty obviously. So, anyway, take care and good luck. I forgot to say, please hit the like button if you liked it, and subscribe if you wish.